All right, welcome back, guys. So a new 30-second TV spot for the Rise of Skywalker just dropped today. I told myself I was going to try to avoid some of these, but I've heard that this particular TV spot has a lot of juicy stuff, so I just can't help myself. I want to watch it. Let's see what's up.
This will be the final word
Oh, Palpatine right off the bat.
in the story of Skywalker.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Star Wars, the Rise
Wow,
of
okay.
Skywalker.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot of things in there that went by really quickly that looked like they might have been important, that I might have to kind of leaf through one thing at a time. Right off the bat, you hear Palpatine speaking, and he kind of goes... He says it straightforward. He says, this is the final word in the story of Skywalker. That is basically just that's sort of the crux of this movie. This is the final chapter. It's been billed as the Skywalker saga, although we're still currently unsure of what Skywalker means in this regard in terms of Rise of Skywalker. Are we talking about Luke? Are we talking about Anakin? Are we talking about Kylo? Are we talking about Skywalker being like the new name for Jedi? We'll have to wait and see, but these trailers continue to, like, we don't see Palpatine after, let's see here, the original Celebration trailer, we heard Palpatine's laugh at the end. That was our first hint of, like, this is going to have Palpatine in it. And then continually we've got new trailers where we'll hear Palpatine's voice, but we still haven't seen him. The main final trailer for Rise of Skywalker had that moment in the end where Rey is in front of what looks like could be Palpatine in a chair, but we don't know that that's Palpatine. That could be evil Rey in a chair for all we know. But we kind of are just meant to assume that it's Palpatine. But I find that interesting that, like, Palpatine, we still haven't seen any Palpatine in any of these trailers. So at this point, they're leaning on the theme of Palpatine heavily over and over and over again in their advertising. It'll be a real bummer if Palpatine hardly shows up in this movie, or, you know, he just kind of like shows up at the end and then dies, and then that's it. I'm hoping that we get Palpatine like pretty close to the beginning of the movie and that he plays like a significant role, because that's kind of what they've been advertising to us.
This will be the final word.
Okay, we've seen this. This shot of Rey, I mentioned this in my reaction to the original final trailer. This shot of Rey, I don't know if anyone else feels this way. I don't know if it's just like sort of like the water or the mist around her, but particularly around her head, the CGI feels unfinished. It feels a little blurred, a little bit rough. It's just, I don't know if it's, you know, still needs a little bit of polish, but they've shown this shot in like 3 or 4 different TV spots now, so I don't know why they would intentionally show a shot over and over again if it wasn't finished. That's just my particular take on it. When I see it, it seems a little bit rough around the edges, particularly around her head. It might just be sort of, like I said, the mist, the water. It's when you put this shot in context with all of the shots around it, I might not notice it as much. But that's just my particular take on this shot.
In the story of Skywalker.
So that's we've seen this shot already, but this is a new view of that shot. John Williams music, like, what can I say? Like, it's probably remains like the most Star Wars part of these sequel Star Wars movies is John Williams never fails. He's just as much of a genius as George Lucas. An enormous part of what we love about Star Wars, even if we don't talk about it enough, is John Williams music, and that's definitely a major part of this trailer is the music. Okay, so we have, you know, standard classic Millennium Falcon flying through a tight corridor of some kind with TIE fighters in pursuit. We've seen this in like 3 or 4 different Star Wars movies. It wouldn't be Star Wars without a scene like that, without the Millennium Falcon being chased down a narrow passageway by TIE fighters. Although it looks like they're in an icy area. Yeah, there's like stalagmites, like icicles. This is definitely... It's hard to tell. I see some pipes. I don't think it's a Star Destroyer. It looks more like it's like a... if I see anything I recognize. It just looks like a hallway that has lights in it, though. So I mean, this could be like the inside. We know we've seen in the final trailer, we saw one of those with Palpatine speaking. We see a Star Destroyer coming out of, like, breaking out of ice. So it's possible that is inside of a Star Destroyer, like underground in like an ice cavern or something. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so X-Wings getting chased and blown up. This was actually something that caught my eye the first time I watched this just now, is Poe screaming no, and it sure as hell seems like somebody that we care about dies, because let's see what... Yeah, no! I mean, that's rough. That could be anything, but that sure seems like they show it in conjunction with an X-Wing falling and blowing up. Hopefully that's nobody we really care about. I personally don't think anybody needs to die in this movie. Nobody other than Vader and Palpatine died in Return of the Jedi. So, I mean, and even in, like, Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo got frozen in carbonite, but, you know, he didn't die. Luke Skywalker got his hand cut off. I mean, in the sequel trilogy, let's see, Han Solo got killed in the first one. Leia died but came back in the second one. I mean, people are saying, like, oh, like, Lando Calrissian is back, they're going to kill him. Like, it's been teased that C-3PO is going to sacrifice himself to the cause and maybe have his memory wiped, effectively killing him. But I personally don't think anyone needs to die or will die in this movie. But this scene of Poe sure as hell looks like somebody he cares about is biting the dust, so let's hope not. Okay, so Rey in her white robes in front of what looks like Kylo's TIE fighter, like the one that he's chasing her down within the desert from the Celebration trailer. Although this landscape looks a lot like Act 2, doesn't it? This looks like scenery from The Last Jedi. It might not be. I mean, this could be anywhere, but just sort of this rocky, slightly mossy area. We'll have to wait and see, but that's definitely not on the desert planet where we see him chasing Rey in that trailer. So another shot of Babu Frick, the droid Smith, or, you know, the guy that works on droids. I just realized he's shirtless. That's funny. He looks like a cool character. He's cute. I like the look. That'll probably sell some toys. We've seen this shot, although we didn't see Kylo from that angle before. Here it shows him actually walking towards some lightning. I think it's mostly just the same shot. Yeah, Kylo. And here we see the throne with Rey in front of it again. I know in an earlier TV spot I pointed out that shot that looked like there was, like, it looks like Palpatine on, like, a mechanized chair of some kind, like, moving towards Rey, and the floor is identical to this. So it seems as though this throne room is also where that mechanical chair type object is. And once again, just gonna have to wait and see. All right.
The Rise of Skywalker.
And that's that. I mean, yeah, I mean, we continue to get new little snippets here and there of things we haven't seen yet. And it's funny because the more they release, like, I'm surprised, like, we still don't really know what the plot of this movie is. We have a general outline, sort of, in terms of, like, we know that this is the final, as Palpatine says in the beginning of this is the final word in the story of Skywalker. So we know that much. We know that this is the end. Like, that, you know, I mean, whether or not they're going to leave the ending open so that there's room for things to continue on, I would assume that that's what they're going to do, because even though this is the end of the Skywalker saga, there's no way they're just going to put Star Wars to bed. Obviously, with The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan and all these things streaming on Disney Plus, that's going to be sort of like where we're going to get our Star Wars fix from now on, like moving to streaming TV, doing these like 8 to 10 episode, like 6, 8, 10 episode series. That's really where we're going to get the bulk of this from now on, but they're not going to stop making Star Wars movies. So I think it's safe to say that we're going to get maybe not episode 10, 11, 12, but we might get something that continues on in the future past this, that's not necessarily about the Skywalkers. But as of yet, nobody really knows what this movie is about. And it seems from what we've heard from, like I just read something with John Boyega that where he said, oh yeah, we shot a bunch of different endings, a bunch of different things. So the actors don't even know how this movie ends. So this movie's clearly still getting edited. It wouldn't surprise me if, they don't even know how they want to finish this yet. We've heard some rumors of test screenings, which is probably not true, but it's safe to say that whatever they end up doing, it needs to be solid and it needs to leave people feeling satisfied. To have people come out of this movie feeling like this was just like them dropping the ball again is going to be really bad. I don't know how many more of these TV spots there are going to be. There's like a whole nother month until this movie comes out, and we've already gotten like a dozen different TV spots, each one that has like a few new little unique scenes in it. I want to avoid getting spoiled, but at the same time, it is so hard to avoid watching these things because every little juicy detail is just like, I can't satiate my appetite for it right now. Luckily, The Mandalorian is really helping me with that. So, like I've said before, I'm already going to see this movie. Disney already has my money. I hope that this is a satisfying conclusion to the saga. Then we're just going to have to wait and see. So, if you guys are excited to see this, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.